Okay. The screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. I was supposed to, I was trying to show this. Okay. So we'll just have a quick, we'll just revise quickly. So the topic was life and teachings of Narad Muni, how Narad Muni became a great Krishna conscious devotee. We'll just quickly revise for those who didn't attend. And we discussed how Narad Muni, Bhagavatam is actually a tale of children also. There are many kids who became great devotees because they practiced Krishna consciousness in their childhood. So we discussed on Narad Muni, how about Narad Muni's life. Narad Muni's previous life, he was son of a maid servant. We discussed this story, and they were visited by some devotees known as the Bhakti Vedantas. And the kids who were there, they might be remembering. So they were visited by four Bhakti Vedantas, four devotees in their ashram. And Narad Muni's mother was a maid servant in his previous life. So she tried to serve all the devotees. And Narad Muni became very attached to them. Narad Muni was very attached to their association. Okay. And then she was attending to their needs. Narad Muni used to do personal service to them. And this was very important. We discussed how Narad Muni was, even though he was a small boy, he was self-controlled, did not speak more than required. I was not naughty, he was not naughty, nor interested in childish play. So we had discussion that we can be little bit naughty, but not during serious things. So I had once a quote from, I don't know how many of you have seen His Holiness Kadambakanan Swami Maharaj. Now he's no more, he left his body 2 years back. He used to say a very important thing, very important quote, which I like the most. I heard that this in Sridham Mayapur in India. He mentioned that a devotee is serious for serious things. Not that he's always naughty or always childish. Not that he's always sad, always serious. Even though someone cracks a joke, he's not sitting with the sad joker face, poker face. A devotee should be serious in serious things. So Narad Muni was that kind of a devotee. He was very serious and self-controlled. And he took their remnants once. So we discussed that how we should be, when there's an opportunity, we should be taking remnants of pure exalted devotees whenever possible. And he heard attractive pastimes of the Lord. He developed affinity for hearing about the Lord, hearing Krishna Katha. So we also discussed this concept that we can only develop attraction for Krishna and hearing about Krishna when we serve devotees. So it's very important that in our capacity, we serve devotees. We also discussed what are the different ways to serve, making garlands, making rangolis, and making some prasad, different types of service, even kirtan, doing kirtan for the pleasure of the Lord. This is service for the Lord. So all of us should be doing some service for the pleasure of the Lord. And that's how we'll develop attraction to hear about the Lord. After that, his attention and his taste became fully developed, and his quality was why that happened. Very important, please hear attentively. He heard those pure devotees because he loved those pure devotees. Narad Muni was very attached to those devotees. So this is a concept which is very, very important in our life. Actually, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that how a devotee, please hear it very attentively, a devotee when he is an association of devotees. He is fully conscious. He spreads his senses. He is fully active. And when he is in the material world, he withdraws his senses. Doesn't mean that we don't study at our schools and colleges, but we do whatever is required, and we are not that much active in material world. So Krishna gives example in Bhagavad Gita of a tortoise. A tortoise, when he sees difficulty, he hides himself in the shell. And when he sees everything is normal, he spreads out his hands and legs. So the point is, we should have very intimate, loving relationship in devotee association. We should have good friends. I hope all of you must be having some good friends and devotees, right? If we don't have, we should have some friends, some good friends who are also devotees like us, and we can develop Krishna consciousness together. So Krishna consciousness is very simple. Krishna consciousness means, remember this, doing everything together with our friends, with other devotees. So that's how Narad Muni had affection for these devotees. And one day we discussed those Bhakti Vedantas, they left, and one day Narad Muni experienced a disaster. What happened? This was the last thing we discussed. While going out to milk a cow, his mother was bitten by a snake and she died. The most important lesson in that was that Narad Muni took this as special mercy of the Lord. So this till here we discussed. So this was the crux of the story which we discussed since last 3 sessions, and I just revised it for devotees who are new. So today we'll resume our discussion from here. I believe all of you at least understood the essence what we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam. If you understood everything, you can type in the chat box yes. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport in this section, when Narad Muni's mother was bitten by a snake, Srila Prabhupada writes a very beautiful purport. Please hear very carefully. Prabhupada says that actually a very nice statement Prabhupada makes. Prabhupada says that a sincere soul is dragged towards ultimate success, right? A sincere soul is dragged towards ultimate success. Why? Because Lord makes sure that his devotee is advancing at any cost. A devotee should always depend on the Lord. Lord wants to make it sure, because I'll tell you something very interesting. Krishna is a very selfish lover. You know what that means? Can someone explain that? What do you think that this word means? Krishna is a very selfish lover. Can someone explain? What do you think that means? Anyone? Any guesses? What does that mean? Yes, Rama, please. Any guesses? There is no right or wrong, just wild
He
guess.
doesn't like to share.
Yeah, he doesn't like to share. Okay, good point. Thank you, Ram. Any other opinion? What does this statement mean? Krishna is a very selfish lover. Anyone? Damodar, Shri, Arut, Shambhavi, Ishani, and Krishna. Any other opinion or response from your side? What does it mean? Krishna is a very selfish lover. Did you hear that before? Did you hear that before? Anyone? Krishna is a very selfish lover. What is that? Okay, we have Shrikari saying he wants to have everyone's love. Okay, good point. Anyone else? Any last response from someone? What does it mean? Don't be shy, you can give your responses. So, this statement that Krishna is a very selfish lover, that means, as Ram said correctly, he doesn't want to share. This is the first thing. Secondly, he doesn't want that his devotee should love anyone else more than him. Krishna wants to be the topmost priority in a devotee's life. Even though he was a kid, he was a child, he was a small child in Vrindavan, but he wanted everyone's attention. He wants everyone's attention. If he's playing, everyone should look at him. Everyone should feed him. If he wants, he will steal butter from wherever he can. So Krishna is a very selfish lover. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning a beautiful point here. Narad Muni's mother, now imagine, Narad Muni is a small boy. Can someone guess what was the age of Narad Muni? Anyone? Yes. Yes, Arut?
I think 4.
Yeah, you're close. Yes. 5. He was 5 years old. Srikariya said 5. Narad Muni was just 5 years old. And now just imagine, all of you are much greater than 5, right? There's no one who is just 5 here. Just a 5 years old boy, and he's living alone with his mother, and his mother dies because of a snake bite. Now, I want all of your response in the chat box. You can even unmute yourself and speak up. How do you think Narad Muni must be feeling? And how would a person feel if this happens? A 5 years old boy, his mother dies because of snake bite, and he has no one left.
Maybe sad or depressed.
Yes, sad or depressed. Okay, good point, Arut. Thank you. And we have some response in the chat box. Rama says grief. Shambhavi sad and mad. Okay, that's quite poetic. Thank you, Shambhavi. Shrikari is saying devastated and keep crying. Okay, good point. Anyone else? Damodar? Damodar is saying sad and devastated. Okay. Ishani? Ishani would say something. Very upset. Yes. He must be feeling very upset. And actually, another important point, he must be feeling very insecure, very fearful. Who will take care of me? What will happen to me? There's no one in this world to take care of me. And therefore, but Narad Muni is mentioning here that he, instead of having all these negative feelings, he took this disaster, this accident, as Lord's special mercy, because Lord wanted that he should not depend on anyone else other than the Lord himself. Because Krishna's nature is that he is Bhakta Vatsal. Remember that. You can even note down. Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. It means Krishna is very loving and caring for his devotees. It can even be in a negative way that he takes away everything. So Prabhupada says in the purport, sincere devotees dragged towards ultimate success. And whenever something happens, even something bad happens, a devotee thinks this is special mercy of the Lord. Devotee doesn't become depressed and insecure that what will happen. Why did Lord do this to me? I chant every day. I make garlands every day. We hear classes every day. Why did this happen to me? A very famous topic going on in the world. Why bad things happen to good people? Devotees do not feel disturbed. They're always very high in spirits and they keep doing Krishna consciousness. And that is what's the quality of Narad Muni. And what Narad Muni did, then Narad Muni left. Oh, okay. Can someone read this? What is mentioned in the PPT? Ishani, would you read this, please? What's written in the slide?
Um, Even though I had no experience of foreign lands, I immediately left home and started for the north.
Yeah. He didn't have any experience because he was a mere 5-year-old boy. He didn't have experience where to go, where not to go, which direction to go. But he immediately left home and started for the northern direction towards the Himalayas. And he passed through numerous cities, towns, villages. He passed through forests, the dark jungles with snakes, owls, jackals. Basically, he witnessed every aspect of creation of the law. He visited every place, cities, towns, villages, forests, mountains, valley, forest filled with dangerous animals. And this is, you must remember, this is just a 5-year-old boy. Any one of you would like to go alone, leaving home? Anyone? Going through forest where there are tigers, lions, jackals. And I think in Florida there are bears also. Yes, you must have seen some. I saw many of them when I was there. Even the one bear was after us, so we ran towards the farm. We were roaming around during the night. None of you should do that. We were just exploring. So there was a bear. It was, I think, it was in the winters, I believe. Yes, I think this month of December or January. So a bear was after us. He started running behind us, and we ran after him. He was almost 1.5 feet taller than us. I'm almost 6 feet, so he was this big, 1 feet more taller than me. He was running after us, and we ran. And somehow he left. It was an experience, actually. So none of you should do that. Don't roam around in the night. But the point is, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that a preacher, a devotee, someone who is a preacher, especially a sannyasi, should have experience of traveling everywhere. As since all of you are very small kids, none of you would be traveling and going to places you don't know. And we won't do also, right? None of us, it will never happen that we just pack our bags and just will leave, experiencing forest. The nearest forest, I believe it's Sokla National Forest at our place. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Someone can correct me. Okla National Forest. Yes, I think it is Okla National Forest. Many places like that. So none of us will go and visit that. Yes, yeah. Srikari has confirmed that. None of us will visit such forest because they are very dangerous. But Srila Prabhupada says a preacher, especially a sannyasi, a preacher, should experience every creation of the Lord. He should travel to all the places. Why? Because he wants to benefit the entire humankind. That is the quality a devotee has, that he wants to benefit everyone. And when we travel, we depend on the Lord all the more. Yes? Okay, yes. Even we did this sometimes, camping and thrills. But anyways, so when I come there, we'll visit sometime. All of us will go together. So Prabhupada says in the purport that preacher and sannyasi, they should travel everywhere possible. And they should not be afraid. Why? Because a devotee always thinks that Krishna is the protector. Krishna always protects his sincere devotees. That was the attitude of Narada Muni. He traveled everywhere. Okay? And then when he was fatigued, he drank water from rivers. Then, ultimately, he sat down under a great banyan tree. Someone can read this? Rama, would you like to read? What's written on slide?
Then I sat down in the shade of a great banyan tree and began meditating upon the Supreme Soul within, as I had learned from my spiritual masters.
Yeah. He started to meditate on the Supreme Soul, started to meditate and saw the super soul within. He had learned this, as we discussed, he learned this from his teachers, the Bhakti Vedantas. Yes. And then what happened? Yes, Shri, read this, please. Read this, Shri Kari.
Okay, Prakash. As soon as I concentrated my mind upon the lotus feet of the Lord, it became transformed due to transcendental love. As tears fell from my eyes, Lord Krishna appeared on the lotus of my heart. All my senses became spiritually enlivened.
Yeah.
Vision of Lord's form provides one with a deep satisfaction that is beyond description.
Yes. So when Narad Muni meditated, he saw the form of the Lord and he started to cry, seeing the form of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada mentions a very beautiful statement in the purport that actually, when one sees the Lord, when one sees the beautiful form of Krishna, one feels such ecstasy, such bliss, that a person forgets everything. Because Krishna is the most beautiful, not just for human beings, even for cows, even for peacocks, even for monkeys, not just animals. When the trees used to see Krishna, trees used to become stunned. When the rivers they used to see Krishna, they stopped flowing. Krishna was so beautiful. Not Krishna was, Krishna is so beautiful. That's the beauty of the Lord. He is a supremely beautiful person. And when one sees that, his senses become enlivened. There is nothing more to see in this world if one sees the beautiful form of Krishna. Even all of you must have seen our deities, form of Krishna, form of Jagannath. You've seen that, like Jagannath looks so cute, always wanting prasadam. So, form of Krishna is very beautiful. And when Narad Muni saw that form, you know, what happened was Narad Muni was spiritually enlivened, and Narad Muni is mentioning that it is beyond description, cannot be described. That's what happened with him. Okay. Thus, when the Lord disappeared from my side, I jumped up with great agitation. Then, after a short glance, he saw Lord for a short period, and then Lord disappeared from his vision. Narad Muni was greatly agitated because he was fixing his eyes on the form of the Lord. And then, even after meditation, he was not able to see. So the Narad Muni wanted to see the form of the Lord, and Lord spoke. Upon his sincere attempts, can someone read this? Okay. Shambhavi, would you read this, please?
Upon
Upon,
seeing my sincere attempts in that lonely place, the Lord, while remaining invisible, spoke to me with a grave voice just to mitigate my sorrow.
yeah, just to mitigate my sorrow. Because Narad Muni was trying hard to see the Lord again, but it wasn't happening. So then the Lord spoke in a very grave and serious voice. Okay. Someone having grave voice here, any grave, serious voice? Okay. Anyone having grave voice here? None of. Okay, Arut can read. He has a very grave, serious voice. Arut, would you read, please?
O Narada, I will regret to inform you that you will not be able to see me again during this lifetime, because one who is not freed from all material contamination can be hardly approach me.
Yes, thank you, Arut. Yes, it is indeed a serious, grave voice, right? Lord must have spoken like this only. The Narad, you now cannot see me because one who is not pure can never approach Lord. We should remember this. We can only come in contact with the Supreme Lord. We can only come in contact with Krishna when we are pure. If we are impure, we won't even have taste. We won't even like to hear. We won't even like to do some service and all. In order to get in touch with Krishna, we require purity. We should become pure in our character and behavior. Okay? So, as a special favor, Lord continues, please pay attention. As a special favor, I have shown myself to you, just to increase your desire to come to me. By my mercy, neither your advancement in Krishna consciousness nor your remembrance will ever be impeded, even at the time of creation or annihilation. Then Narad Muni got a benediction. What? Lord said that you will never forget me. Your remembrance will never be troubled, will never be impeded. You will always remember me, even after creation, even after annihilation. And then Narad Muni always, he's mentioning afterwards when Narad Muni left his body, he was born as the son of Brahma. And Lord gave him a veena also. Narad Muni has his instrument, veena, and he sings glories of the Lord, always singing glories of the Lord. Spiritual and material world. Narad Muni travels everywhere. Srila Prabhupada mentions Narad Muni is our spaceman. He goes to Vaikuntha, he goes to hellish planets, he goes to heaven. He travels everywhere, and what he does? He preaches. He does preaching. He sings glories of the Lord on his veena, his stringed instrument. He always sings the glories of the Lord. And that's how Narad Muni, our Narad Muni, because of his previous life as a son of a maidservant, now born as a son of Brahma. That's how Narad Muni was born as a son of Brahma, and now he preaches. Narad Muni has great disciples. Do you know some disciples of Narad Muni? Who knows? Who all are disciples of Narad Muni? Yes, Shrikari, name one.
Vyasadev?
Vyasadev. Vyasadev is a disciple of Narad Muni. Narad Muni inspired him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Any other disciple of Narad Muni? So many disciples of Narad Muni in Bhagavatam. Yes, Rama.
Dhruva,
Dhruv Maharaj. Okay. Dhruv Maharaj is a disciple of Narad Muni. And who else? Anyone? Who else? Yes, Damodar.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj is a famous disciple of Narad Muni. Okay. Anyone else? Any other disciple of Narad Muni? Yes, we have something in the chat box, I think. Mrigari, Valmiki. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Any other? Many disciples even come in uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, yes, Prahlad Maharaj and Narad Muni. You know, Narad Muni also has a snake as a disciple. Narad Muni even preached to a snake, to a hunter, Valmiki and Vyasadev, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Prachene Barhishad, many disciples. King Prachene Barhishad. Narad Muni is almost in every canto in Srimad Bhagavatam. He's everywhere. Because he travels, he's a traveling preacher. Yes. So that's how Narad Muni became one of the most important and famous devotees of the Lord. And how that happened, Narad Muni, we discussed his qualities because he was self-controlled. He was attached to devotees. And actually, only the service of the Lord can give permanent satisfaction. And that's what Narad Muni does. Narad Muni is one of our idols, one of our heroes. These are some disciples, Dhruv Maharaj, just an example. So Narad Muni is uh, one of our important spiritual masters, actually. Right? One of the most important spiritual masters in our sampradaya. Because Narad Muni, who is the spiritual master of Narad Muni? Who gave knowledge to Narad Muni? Who can say? Anyone? Who gave knowledge to Narad Muni? Lord Brahma, yes. Brahma is the father of Narad Muni and his teacher also. That's how Narad Muni, from son of an insignificant son of a maid servant, became a great devotee. So anyone in this world, regardless of his birth, caste, creed, or color, can become a great devotee of the Lord, provided he practices Krishna consciousness seriously. Okay? All right, so we'll finish here. Thank you for listening attentively. Hopefully, all of you must be hearing. And I'm very sorry I extended for 7 minutes extra, but we wanted to complete this topic. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, reflections? Anything you would like to share? Some important point? Some take-home message from all of you? Anything?
What happened to Narada Muni's father?
Yeah, Narad Muni's father. Narad Muni didn't have a father in his last life because he was son of a maidservant. And that's why his birth was insignificant because his father was unknown. But because of association of the Bhakti Vedantas, he became a great pure devotee. And of course, in this life, Narad Muni's father is Lord Brahma. Anything else? Someone speak something? Any reflections?
Prabhu, can I ask one question?
Yeah, sure, please.
Prabhu, when you said Krishna is selfish, so it feels bad impression on Krishna, isn't it? So how to take that?
Yes. So it's kind of very negative image. How can Lord be selfish? Lord must be very kind. He must be very good. Actually, he is selfish not because he's bad, but because he loves the living entities to a great extent. Srila Prabhupada mentions that more than we going back to Godhead, Krishna wants us back to Godhead. And therefore, he plans our life in such a way that we can surrender more to him. We can love him more. We can depend on him more. I heard a very beautiful English quote, which we should remember, that we see our present and plan our future. But what Krishna does, he knows our future and accordingly he plans our present. So it may appear that he is selfish and he's doing bad to us, but actually he does the ultimate good because Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. He's the greatest well-wisher of the living entities. And that's why sometimes he creates problems. Because so that we can depend on him more. When situation is tough, we depend more on Krishna. We love him more. We serve him more. We chant more. We read Srimad Bhagavatam more. And during tough times, our Krishna consciousness should become intense. And how that happens? First of all, we should love Krishna. First of all, we should have that love by reading more, hearing more, chanting. And secondly, by associating with devotees who have this quality. So, real test is when we have tough times in Krishna consciousness or in our material life also. You must have heard that saying, when going gets tough, tough gets going. All right. That answers, Mataji, to some extent.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. So
Thank
it
you.
looks like he is, but it's not. Um, so he
Yeah,
cares more. So like a father. So then we feel like father also, "Oh, you mean, children may say that father is so mean,
yeah,
but actually father knows better what is good for us.
yeah.
Yes,
Krishna
Prabhu.
plays role of everyone. Father, mother, well-wisher, sibling, friend, lover, everything. He can play role of everyone. That's why he's supreme now.
And Prabhu, you said that service have to important. So for the kids, so for they may not understand service.
Hmm.
So they may understand word service, but so if you give them some idea like service in the temple, they have to clean the temple, they have to do things like that. So that kind of service, so according to the children's age, what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
service that they should do.
Good point. So, what can be some practical services for children? There can be many. Yes. And like as you mentioned, cleaning the temple, cleaning the temple, making garlands, some decorations and all, doing kirtans, and some service in Goshala. And basically, what is the most important service? Chanting, sitting and doing kirtan, hearing Krishna Katha. And another important service which kids can do is also I have seen many times in US and in India also. Many times during Christmas marathon, after the exam, of course, after the exams are over, many kids go out for book distribution. I don't know how many of you go. You must be going, I believe. Some devotees must have be doing book distribution. Even preaching is a very good service because I experienced this when we do book distribution many a times. Devotees, outsiders, they're very hesitant to take books from us when I used to distribute. So they looked at me and they were like who's this guy? He doesn't have hairs. What's his problem? But when kids distribute and things like that. So they very nicely they appreciate it that kids are distributing good books on philosophy and religion and all. So they take books from kids surprisingly. So even this is a very good service like that. So there are many services like that which devotees can do, whichever kids can do something. Some these are some services. Answers that, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Going to the temple is also service, right,
Yes,
Prabhu?
yes. Going to the temple, hearing, associating with devotees, and most importantly, asking questions, learning from devotees. So this is also service. All right. I think we have one question in the chat box. I didn't see that. It is by Sri Kari. How can we remember Lord during tough times? Oh, I mentioned that before. Answer that. Usually we only think of other stuff when we are in difficult times. Lord is probably the last thing we might think of. Yes, and that's what Lord wants, that he shouldn't be the last. He should be the first we might think of. That's what Pandavas did. When they saw Brahmastra, what did they do? They prayed to Krishna. First thing we should be doing is praying, chanting, praying, intensely praying. Because when we face difficulties, our prayers become intense. So that's how we can practice. That answers, Shrikari? Thank you. Any other, someone else would give some response? Any take-home message, any point you liked? Shambhavi, Damodar, Ishani, Arut, and Krishna? Anything you would speak up? All right. So I think we can wind up here, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much for patiently listening. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaved Gaur Bhaktavanta ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week with some more stories and lessons. Shikar is asking, when are you coming here? Visa has been applied. Let's see whenever US government confirms it sometime. And we'll see you live there. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rama, Shambhavi, Shrikari, Shani, and Damodar, Arut,
Hare
and
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Pranav.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.